not able to install. Let me show that. I have the host here. So if I drag this screen here, okay, I've started the recording in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we are in Citrix session now. Well, not the Citrix session, the Citrix class session. And so what I was saying that some of us were not able to deploy that management console to the Windows 7 client. Oops. Okay, surprise is gone. So management console, some people were not able to deploy on Windows 7 or 8. So there was a problem in deploying the management console. Excuse me. So anyone else was able to deploy the management console on a Windows 7 or 8 machine? Oh, okay. So, and you did not get, you don't have Windows 7. 8.1 was asking to install .NET. So there are comments coming in the chat. So yeah, Manzur was able to deploy. Manzur, you had 8 or, okay, on 8. Win 8 can download. Should I download and install? So, yeah, we would be needing the client. Yeah, well, Win 7 versions, if you go for, Google old versions, operating system old versions, there are sites that have saved the evaluation old versions. But, Windows 8 also, it works with Windows 8. Windows 8.1 is still there as an eval. So try to deploy that. So Mahfouz is saying that 8.1 was asking to install .NET. So you installed .NET, and then was it working for Mahfouz? And so there were different types of stuff that was done by different people. So Windows 7, Windows 8 was tried. I tried Win 8, but there's another comment in the chat. I tried Win 8, but cannot find the Citrix MEM 0102. Russell, but having trouble with an app not getting member 0102. So two people have that. So Anne and Russell has this problem. Today I was not, excuse me, I was not, I was just able to do some few emails, but I can check this tomorrow, guys, if you are having TeamViewer there. But so all the troubleshooting, we have to go through that and try to know that, basically it's the client connectivity between Windows 7 and the Windows 2008. But I'm sure that you guys must have, yeah, so Anne sent me the screenshot, and so there, the screenshot for, oh, I lost that as well. So, okay, guys, we can connect to it later, and so what we can do is we can connect to it at tomorrow. If you have TeamViewer, I can connect to your machines. Excuse me, because today I was not able to do much. Just send some emails, and I was not able to connect a lot. Yeah. So there's a question in the chat. Okay, there's a question that do we need to update or do Windows update on Windows 2008? Well, updates are always a good idea, but I was, so I enabled the updates, automatic updates, and it really updated my machine to such a level. Now it's 100 GB size of my machine, and it's really taken my 500 GB hard disk. I had to remove a lot of, but definitely if you have updates, it's gonna fill up the loopholes. It's always good to have updates. Some of us don't have updates right now, so that's going to be it's better to have updates, right? If you have enough space in the hard disk, go for it. Any loopholes there, any bugs that, it could be resolved for because of that. So, okay, guys, so what we did on day one, so let me get and grab my slide. So on day two, we went through the Zen App Center and talked about search, my view, and zones. We created 80 user accounts and gave them different types of privileges and permissions on Citrix environment. So I still am waiting for screenshots from people. You could just send a screenshot of the last screen or, well, 2 or 3 screens at least. Okay, so let me check if I have started the recording. Thank you for confirming that. All right, it's working. Excuse me. So on day two, we did that, and then we went for Management Console on Windows 7 and saw that full App Center opens there with administrator account. So this is what we have done, and let's try to go ahead a little, but guys, if try to resolve or try to figure out this management console. In fact, if I want to try now, because today we're going to try some other things on clients as well, which we can try on the second server as well. But it's if you guys have a client already, that's good. So if I start my Zen App Center in my Windows 7 client, let me just make it big. So Zen App Center, let's see. I mean, I just started that, well, it was started since the morning. So, okay. As soon as it starts, now it has, again, it is, well, in the last lab, I was able to successfully add. Right now, it's just, it's going to try to discover it again, right? So if I go next and Zen App is selected and next, I here, of course, you know that you have to just add the Citrix servers, not the local one. Citrix mem01 and press OK. Then click Add again and Citrix mem02 and press OK. I did had problems with this as well, but I had to try to figure out, mostly it's the connectivity. NS lookup, so we'll tell you name resolution, check the connectivity, check the name resolution, and most important is, are you logged in from local administrator of Windows or domain administrator of Windows? That really is sometimes confusing. Like the administrator is written there and we just go ahead, put the password, log in, and we don't realize that we did not log in from Windows, we logged in from a local machine. But anyway, this is one of those things that we need to double check. And then I click next. Let's see if it discovers. So at this discovery process, people are getting errors. Maybe I get an error. Maybe I don't get an error. So, well, okay. Oh, come on, discover, please. Oh, I will get one. Hopefully. You're praying that I should get an error. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the place where we need to see the connectivity, the name resolution. If the error comes, I would try to check some of the options on the server side, some of the options on the client side. Okay, there is in the comment in the chat, I'm restarting the machine. Let's see. Yep, that might be a good idea, but try to make sure you're logging from domain admin and, name resolution and NSLOOKUP is giving you the correct IP um, and of the DNS, as well as, okay, it has taken much longer time now. Looks like trouble. But so there were people who were successful. There were people who had big problems with discovering from the client Windows 7 or 8 machine, discovering the XenApp servers. So, wow, okay, that's too long now. If I go back and just quickly check my servers for, um, you know, first thing, firewall, of course. I would always go for that. Because they do tend to get installed. Oh, seriously, I should have just removed that. Yep, firewalls are off. Let me check back. All right, so one client was discovered, one was not. Errors occurred when using Citrix mem2 in the discovery process. If I double click, oh, it's the same, you know. So Citrix 2 was not discovered, but Citrix 1 is discovered. If I go to 2, excuse me, the main thing would be that I would go for NSLOOKUP. Well, IP address is okay, so seems okay. And well, it's a Windows server, right? So I could just go for XenApp App Center, Citrix XenApp Center, just to check everything is fine here, and it's running its own discovery at the start as usual. And if excuse me, if there's a problem, I would go for services directly, the services of that server. Then against automatic, there would be a very quick check that if I click the automatic against that, any of the Citrix services are not started. Okay, management architecture, IMA service, which is responsible for communication between the XenApp servers, it is not started, and it's supposed to be automatic. Yeah, so it is, there is always saying that if there's a connectivity issue, there are always says that there is that MFCOM service. Sorry. So in my case, it's in IMA is not started yet. Well, it should be started, but I don't know why it's not. And oh, so XenApp commands remoting is not started. XML service is not started. Okay, these services should be started. These Citrix services should be started because they are on automatic, right? So if we try to start them, okay, I started one. I will go for the other one, and then I will go for the third one. So guys, check your services. Those for those the these obvious services are supposed to be started, right? So if they are not, that's okay. Second, I started. Third one is XML, which is we just could not start the Citrix XML service on local computer. The service cannot be started either because it is disabled or because it has no enabled devices associated with it. Okay. I would refresh at least, and okay, let me try again if it is discovered. If I have both servers discovered, no, okay, it just discovered itself. So guys, whenever we start, and we're going to be starting and stopping our servers a lot, so yeah, this is going to be something that we have to take into account, that we will be Citrix mem01, enter. If I just put those, we may have to, try to put the servers on discovery again and again every time. And in my case, okay, yeah, it's both my servers are okay. So I can, okay. So is the sound okay for everyone? So encounter same problem, restart, solve the issue. Okay, so for Akash, the restart of the server solved the issue. Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. So I restarted those services and maybe it works now if I go back and back and next and put it to, okay, see guys, voila. And there you go. So my both servers which were not being discovered were not discovering. Oh, okay. Everyone is able to listen to me correctly? My voice is okay for everyone? Can you put in the typing yes, maybe, no, kinda not? Or, okay, there's a yes, which means, okay, lots of yes. So if my voice is clear, let me know, guys. Or not clear, then let me know. So what we did here, okay, the server was not detecting. I went to the server, restarted the services. In some other students' case, they had to restart the server, but just go directly to the services of the server and just go for Citrix related services, and those services which are having automatic, they should be started, right? So I just did that, and now it is discovering both. So, okay, let's go ahead now and try to know what's in store for today. So, what I did already was something that I should have removed. So if I go for role services, I'm just gonna let you know now. Excuse me, my throat today is okay. I've just started one. I'm starting one console to remove instances already. Okay, sorry. So add or remove server roles, and what I want to remove is web interface, which I want to configure with you. So I've already gone through that once, but it's always good to know that what we're going to be installed. Also, how do we remove that? So there are roles we added, then there are roles we can remove as well. But we can only remove if yeah, there it is. So remove server roles and web interface. Next, guys, don't do that. I'm just doing it because we need to go ahead with those roles. So management console has stopped. Seriously, don't say that. Okay, welcome to Microsoft. So, okay, uninstalling web interface. While it is uninstalling, let me just go through that topic. And I'll put this machine on my side so I could trace the performance, what's going on there, and get my machines ready while we talk about the web interface. You may have remembered that we were trying to configure, we have added the, XenApp role and web interface role, and but we have configured XenApp basically, but we did not configure the web interface. We did not discuss about that web interface role in XenApp, so we're going to try to configure that today. There are lots and lots of options there, lots of terminology coming our way that would show us. So if I go back now, so I'm just dragging my screen here. And if I start, I'm on Citrix BAM01, which is, the first Zen app. So if I go for Zen app center, or if I just check the roles manager first, I just want to know if web interface is added there, is there or not, because we did add the role, but we did not configure the role, right? So today, let me add the role and then let's configure the role there. So only Zen app is showing license and configured is showing, and I do want, if I click add or remove, because I already configured it before, so I had to remove it now. Now I want to add it back again and start configuration with everyone. And also we're going to go with the slide and try to know, okay, so there's add server roles. In Citrix, the structure of adding or removing roles is the same like we add and remove roles in Windows. So part name edition we selected. I'm just quickly going through that. You don't have to do that. Okay, web interface I had removed. Now I am adding that again. Our license server was on our domain controller, right? So next, and XML service and everything. Okay, all the options. So whatever is the default, I've just selected it and we are good to go. Install. While I also have in my other desktop, I have copied these 4 Citrix machines on my other desktop. This is Red Desktop, Red Desk PC, remote desktop. Through remote desktop connection, I'm connected to my other desktop where this same Citrix environment is available as well. So I have 2 environments. I think you should also have. Um, I think you should also have that, right? The 2 environments. Okay. So there is a comment that what we have done. So uh, I was explaining that. So we had XenApp and web interface. Oh, repeat. So there's a comment in the chat that can we repeat the last steps. Actually, what happened was, okay, that's what I really wanted to see today. So let me show that on. Okay. Um, visual. Let me show you what I just did. Because, I need to install web interface. The only thing what I did till now is to remove web interface and then reinstall the role of web interface. So the question is, why did I remove the web interface role? And the reason is that I already practiced it. So that's why I wanted to redo that with everyone. So that's why I have removed the web interface, which was already configured, or I have done things which we haven't done together. So I'm just going to do do those same stuff again here. All right. Wow. Cool. Seriously. That is not good. So, sorry guys. Let me just drag that visual diagram so I could explain what's going on. So it's day 3. Yeah, there it is. Oh yeah. Let me just close that. So first thing is this is our Citrix environment. What I did was we installed the web interface role there, right? So today I practiced it in the day. Then right now I removed it and installed it again. That's all we did. So we could do it together, right? On this server. So we don't have to do anything else. And before that, what I tried was to show you that management console was not working on my client as well. But I went to this server and then I just discovered that 3 main Citrix services were not running against automatic. So they were supposed to run, but they were not running. So I started those services. As soon as I started those services, this server was also discovered on this management console on Windows 7. So these are 2 things I just did. So, okay, let's go ahead. So first of all, um, let's go ahead. Let's troubleshoot some. I had this email that, okay, management console is not running. So this is the slide. So I just showed that, okay, check your services, right? Or restart that server Citrix app. Let's go with today's topic, configure. So today what we'll do is configure web interface. Try to check it on client machine. Publish small apps. So this was the main thing that we were waiting, like, hey, when are we going to be publishing the apps when are we going to publish the apps for which this Citrix is so famous. So today we're going to just try, to do the easy tasks. But definitely the web interface is the one. If you have used the Citrix environment, this is how we see in our Citrix environment the interface on which the apps icons are presented to users. So let's go ahead and try to know for web interface. So it has two ports. I mean, these are common ports, port 80 and port 443. And this port is used by plugins using the TCP plus HTTP protocol to communicate with servers. This port must be opened on firewalls. So the main thing is that these ports normally are open in firewalls for, internet traffic and for SSL traffic. So they're already open, but these will be used now for the web interface as well. And um, so web interface browser, how many types of browser it supports and what versions? This is the list for that. Well, any of the latest browsers will definitely support. So if there are much older browsers, then of course we should be worrying about that. So these are the common browsers. Let's go ahead. Um, Web interface communication process. So there's the client, and it wants to connect through its browsers to this XenApp server farm. There's a web interface appliance, a special, you could have, you could buy this appliance from Citrix, a hardware one, and then you could have in your browser, this web interface will show through the browser all the published applications on XenApp server farm, and authentication is done through domain controller. The ICA traffic is the client, that remote, very thin or light client that is going to help connect the user with the XenApp server farm to, show those applications. But the main purpose of web interface is to offer published apps through the browser to the client, right? Through the browser to the client. Okay, let's go ahead and try to check a little more. This is the process for the web interface communication. It's all step by step. I'm just going to send you the slide. So it just goes from user submitting the logon credentials through a web interface. A web interface forwards the logon credentials to the Citrix XML service. So XML service catches those logon credentials of a user. The credentials are forwarded to domain controller, just like, in the previous picture it's showing that XML traffic is received by the web interface. So the credentials of the user are going there as the number goes, number one, and then two is this. So, and then three is domain controller here. Then four, the XenApp server form. This is all written here, the process for, so the Citrix XML service retrieves a list of applications from the IMA subsystem. So what was IMA? IMA was responsible for server-to-server communications. It's the protocol. ICA is responsible between users and the server traffic. And ICA is this, and IMA is a protocol that is responsible for communication between server to server. So what it says here is the Citrix XML service retrieves a list of applications from the IMA subsystem. The web interface presents the applications in a web page on the client device. Okay. The user clicks an application icon on the web page. So the web interface grabs the applications from here and then presents it on the browser, user's browser, those applications, right? So the web interface contacts the Citrix XML service to locate the least busy server in the form. The Citrix XML service requests a secure ticket for the user from the least busy server. So what's going on here? XML service will connect a user here to one of the least busy servers here, right? So whichever server has the least load of the users, it will connect, XML server traffic will connect that user session to that server, which can take more connections, right? So this is good. And the other good thing is that it is based, this communication between the user and the server is based on tickets. So, which means what? The Citrix XML service returns the address of the least busy server, okay, and a secure ticket for the user to the web interface. The web interface server dynamically generates a customized ICA file. We're going to see today this ICA file and sends it to the web browser on the client device. The client device initiates a connection with the server specified in the connection information. So what happens is that user wants to access or click those icons. If when the user tries to access this, Citrix web browser with that special link that we're going to be seeing now, there is that one ICA file. The first time if the user is trying to access those applications, the user has to deploy that Citrix ICA, Citrix receiver or the Citrix client, right? That if that receiver or the plugin is not there, the Citrix applications will not be showing on the client browser. So we're going to see today how it works. That when you are trying to open through Citrix URL those published applications for the first time, you will have to install that plugin at least the first time. And we can control even that behavior if it's the old plugin or if it's the old receiver or the new receiver. So I'm just taking different names for that. Let's try to know all about how the user will be able to see those published applications through a Citrix client, right? If I go, so these are the steps just for the basic communication. It's good to, if you're going for a Citrix interview, you would at least know this much, that how the communication goes, and you could explain, if, confidently these steps. So installing web interface, we already did that. We installed on the first server XenApp and web interface, right? And so there's a site creation that we will be doing now. We have to start creating a site. And actually, we're going to go for the default one. But later, when we start doing a bit complicated stuff, then we're going to go for some custom sites as well. So XenApp website allows users to access remote applications, virtualized applications, and content using the only thing different here is web browser for XenApp website. Let's do that now. So XenApp services site allows users to access remote applications, virtualized applications, and content using a Citrix online plugin. So there's a difference between these two, and we're going to try to see that now. If I go ahead, okay, these are just the next stages of the of this installation of a site. So I just want to show you the picture, and then let's go ahead. Log on screen appearance. So I'll try to explain the rest of the options while doing that, right? Excuse me. So I'll go back now to the Citrix form and check the health first if everything is okay. So if I go up there, refresh, and well, everything should be okay. Second thing would be that I will just go, this is a regular thing which we do when we, enter the office. First we go to the event viewer. Event viewer is our very, very first stop in the morning. Event viewer, open that, and just look for trouble. Like if there was any trouble, don't. Okay, so if it is colorful events, then you should be very worried about that, but at least go for the red and yellow warnings. new. So if it is Citrix related, I'm going to be concerned about that. Warning, the desktop experience, unable to copy. Well, anyway, I just wanted to look for the Citrix related events, and that day last time we did try to see some of the events. So I'm just going to go for the latest for CTX desktop experience. I would, if I don't understand that, I would just Google it. What's the main meaning? But mainly, there are not many Citrix events other than the Citrix offline plugin and just information. So first thing, minimize that. Okay, next, let's go for that web interface. So I'm in the app center right now. What I need to do is, oh, it's on the second one. Okay. I'll go to this first one. In so everyone should be, seeing this environment. So if I close this is a Citrix Zen App Server Role Manager. We always have that. So I'll close that just to show how to go to that. All programs, no, not all programs. Administrative tools, Citrix, and there it is, ZenApp Server Role Manager, right? From where, from here, as the name says, we configure Citrix roles, right? So this is on this path, you can see. So I'm just gonna click this, and either we can add a role, or if we did add a role but did not configure that role, so now this will be the chance for us to configure that role. So adding the role is a separate thing, and actually configuring the role is a separate thing, right? So there it is. I think those who are following me, you would be able to see that as well, that the web interface was not configured. So let's try to configure that now. I think many of you are following with me. So I'll click configure now, and let's go ahead and check it out. So you would see this site. Let me just make it bigger now. So there are two, areas to configure here. Well, we're going to be basically configuring just one. So ZenApp websites and ZenApp services sites. We just saw that information on the slide, that websites is for user access to the browsers, and this is services is for online plugin. But we're going to be trying to see how it works. For ZenApp website, either you right click this and create site here, or you can just left click and see to your right side the create site. So I'm just going to right click that. Right click what? The ZenApp website. So right click that and create site. So there is that default website is showing there, and it has giving that path. We're gonna, for now, we need to know what is web interface. So we're not gonna go deep inside, why it is, why this path is there and why this name is there. This is the default we're gonna be relying on. This is the Internet Information Services site, or IIS server site. Default website, you already know that it is always there. Okay, IAS is administrative tools. This is the IAS manager, Internet Information Services. So inside this, it will create a site now, right? So this is another role inside the Windows, actually. So we're gonna keep it the default. Right now, keep default options, because later when we go for changes for more complicated labs, then we're going to be touching or changing those options. So right now, I'm gonna keep these default just to see what it produces or what features it's going to give us. So keep this and go next. Now it is asking, what we're trying to create here is a web interface, which means that a user can access published applications through a Citrix browser interface, right? So we're going to create that now because it was not available till now. And through that, once this is created, then we're going to go for publishing small applications right now just to check if the applications do show up there. So this is specify point of authentication. So point of authentication means that, um, uh, guys, let me know if the fonts are small or big. Is that okay? I hope it's not very small for you. Anyway, so since you have the screen in front of you, I guess, so, maybe it's okay. So specify where user authentication takes place. So right now we are concerned that, yes, we are going to be clicking the application icons on a browser. So yes, authentication should take place on the web browser, but the authentication can also take place on Microsoft ADFS or Federation Services Account Partner. This is also another web app that gets configured if we configure the Active Directory Federation Services. Then there is Access Gateway that we can configure that has also, so it's just saying that at what point the authentication for that web interface will take place, so the user could actually see those published applications. So we're gonna stick now to the web interface itself. That, yes, just open that browser and we're gonna just want to put our username password just there, right? And next, oh seriously, not good. Okay, so you are all seeing. So those who are following me are are seeing uh, of some other options, but the bad thing is that I did already configure that. So let me just get that second environment where I'll quickly start configuring it. There is that other desktop that I have already configured everything just for these types of, because I want to discuss about all the options there, although the pictures are there also in the. Oh, seriously? Okay, forget it. So, yeah, I configured the whole thing. Yeah, right. Okay, so no other options? Um, so guys, so Manzur's, you didn't get any option. You got exactly the same window as I got. When you will click next, you will get options. Okay, okay, okay. Site successfully created. So you went ahead. Okay, good, good, good. Configure the site now. So yeah, I just configured last, so I thought that removing and then adding would have changed the option, so I just got, see, on this seat, people do panic. Anyway, so I configure the site now, click next. Okay, there is that form 1, specify form 1 here. So this is specify details of the server form providing the resources. In our case, it's I think we named it what? My form? I think we named it. So let me just get the screen bigger so I could see the whole environment. Yeah, let me just open the Zen App Center here. I think maybe I named it different than others. It is discovering my form. Okay, so the name is my form, what we gave in our Zen App Center. It's still editing, so form name is my form. Okay, what are the servers that are, offering those web applications? Okay, and you got an error, create site? Seriously? Why? So you could just send that screenshot to the group right now that we could see it while we are doing actually this. But and could you try to check the automatic services started for Citrix on both your XenApp servers? Because I think whenever we do start our Citrix environment, some of the services are not starting, which are supposed to be starting. They're not started. So try to first make sure that all services against automatic are good. Let me know if you want to know what I mean by that. If you know that already, you can go there and check the Citrix services, right? Okay. So let me know if this error is still coming, or you can also send the screenshot so we can all see as well. So my form here, I'm putting, and then I'm going to add both servers here. This means what? That those two servers will be taking part in publishing the applications, right? So I'm just going to go for click add. So Citrix mem01, press OK, press enter again. Citrix mem02, press OK. So we have added the two servers. Okay, guys, there is this XML service port, and the XML service is the service that makes sure that whatever user connection is going for grabbing those apps, or is being connected to the Zen app server, the XML service tries to grab the least busy Zen app server, right? So this service will be working over port 80, although this port 80 already is, it could be already being used by intranet or internet. So just keep a note of that. If we do get an error later at certain point, we need to come back here and change this port. If the error comes, oh, you know what the error I'm expecting will be, that when you want to put your credentials on a web interface for Citrix, there will be an error, and it will not let you go in and see those published application icons. So if that's the case, we're going to be visiting back here, and then we're going to be changing this. This is a, kind of a known issue. Anyway, this is the area where we might come back. Anyway, for now, let's keep it default and go next. So the next screen says configure authentication methods. Um, so there are authentication methods here. Explicit just means that it's going to pop up with the username, password. You have to separately put the username, password there. Especially pass-through just means that the credentials of a logged-in user will be accepted, will be enough to just open that web interface to see those applications, right? So we can first check the explicit, then we're going to come back here and uncheck the explicit and just check the pass-through just to check, right? Just to see uh, if we log in, and if we log in from the Windows credentials, the domain admin, in our case, we are logging in from administrator credentials, right? So does it really accept that logged in Windows credential and opens that? When we put the URL of Citrix, does it open those applications without asking extra password? Again, the username, password. So explicit. So then there is pass-through with smart cards. Smart cards are, you must have in your laptop or desktop that feature to put that card, and it reads that chip, the security, the encryption, and then it lets you log in. So pass-through would just mean that the allowed credentials already, you don't have to have extra screen asking for credentials. Smart card, so pass-through smart card, and then the smart card that you just put the smart card and it will just let you log in. There will be no extra credentials. Or we could put anonymous. Bad idea. But anyway, it's our environment. We could just put anonymous, and you could just log in from any user, maybe a non-domain user. Maybe you can log in locally, as long as you can communicate with the, that Zen app server, and it might let you just open that. So we could put this to test as well, and it's not supported for Zen desktop. So explicit, let's try that. It will just pop up, it's supposed to pop up the username, password. Pass-through should be accepting our local credentials, but we're going to check that, right? So next, okay, pretty simple here. Domain restriction, you can restrict access to users in selected domains. Settings can be updated after initial configuration using the authentication methods task. But yeah, we're going to keep it to allow any domains, but if we have child domain, we have tree domains, all types. So we could just restrict, or if we have multiple domains, but we want only specific domain users to access the Citrix service, so we can choose those domains here. In our case, let's just keep the allow any domains, keep it simple for the first time. Next, there you go. That's what we see in the office, right? So there is that minimal screen, and this here is minimal, but if you go for full, it's going to offer here on the top, some extra options. So we can keep it minimal and try to check if it works. Then we can come back, click full, and just see what extra options that it's going to give us, right? So keeping it minimal there and clicking next. So select published resource type. There's online, offline, and dual mode. So online is that you are directly connected so users access applications, content, and desktops hosted on remote servers. Definitely that's what we're doing when we are online or connected to the Zen app server per session. So users stream applications to their desktops and open them locally, right? So there's application streaming that uses the processing and memory of the client machine instead of the server. And then there is hosted application where the CPU and memory of the server is being used, not the CPU and memory of the client is being used, right? So both mode, we can just go for dual mode here instead of any of one mode there. So we're gonna later, first today, we're gonna try to put applications and check the hosted mode. The hosted mode will be that the CPU and memory of the servers are being used, and the application is being used by the client, and stream applications would be that client side processing, and GPU would be and memory would be used. So we're just going to put it to dual mode, but even if we put it online, it doesn't matter. Right now, dual mode, let's go ahead. It should support both. Next. Okay, now the options are done. Again, remember, this is the port we are giving for XML service. There might be that error coming that it might not let you log in to that, interface. Okay, let's click finish here. So we have this URL right now configured for the site. How to check it? Okay, we can just put that in the browser, or we can right click it and go for preview site. So it will still, just open it on the local server, while the actual test should be that are we able to open it from another server or the client machine. If you all have that client machine working right now, then we can put that this URL there on the client machine browser. Anyway, if we go and right click this and preview site. So is not currently your default browser, really? What else is my default browser? Okay, press yes because I don't have Chrome here. Oh, there you go. So this is that URL where, well, it's loading, and I think I did turn off those Internet Explorer restrictions, but if I go to Tools and go to Internet Options, normally I try to check if it is required to be added to the safe sites, but it is already there. So it is kind of loading. Okay. While it is loading, those notorious services, I would just go back and check those services. Um, so if I go to administrative tools and go to services here, and expand those. Just wanted to double check if anything against automatic or Citrix is started. So I'm going to click startup type here. All automatic will line up. Then I'm going to go for the Citrix. See, there it is. All the Citrix services are there and they are started. Sometimes we might miss it, but it actually shows ing instead of ed, starting instead of started. That also could be a problem. For now, yeah, everything is started, so this is good. Okay, so I'm just going to close this and let's go ahead and try to check if it's loaded. So for anyone, did it load it successfully the first time, or is it like mine? Refresh. Still loading. I could just cross it and try to put the preview again, preview site. And let's see, while it is trying to load, it is asking me to click install. Okay, so if it is asking you to click install, this is where you get to install that client or Citrix receiver, as we call it. Okay, there is another comment. Please minimize browser. There might be an error, or it is asking me to install something. Yeah, that's not an error. That's a message that, okay, let me show that on the client side while I'll leave it loading on this actual server. Okay, so in my case, it has already downloaded that or installed that Citrix receiver. I'm gonna go to my Windows 7 where my Zen management console is working fine. I'm going to close that and log off because I did check it before, though I did not click the install at that time because I wanted to do that in the class. If I had done the install, I would not have been able to show that to you. So I'm just going to log off, log in again, so I get that first screen where it asks for install, just for the record of the video. If you get that, it's just, you have to go ahead and install that, right? Yeah, so logon details, if you have already clicked install, so it has installed that, downloaded and installed that service. The receiver, Citrix receiver, you just go ahead and give your Windows credentials or the login credentials, the administrator, the password, and the domain. So I'm just going to open the browser and I think I put the URL already there. Yep, there it is. So if I go there, it's loading now. Yep, there it is. So that's what it is showing, right? Um, so yeah, we have to click install actually. So click install. Oh, seriously? I don't have internet right now. It's gonna try to grab that from internet. Which is going to be, so yeah, we have to arrange that. Okay, Russ, you're logged in. Did you install it because you had internet connection? So I'm just gonna try to get that internet connection, but it's just going for the downloads area, right? So if I go to skip to log on, do not, put that, uh, do not install that. If I go to skip to log on, the website cannot find the required software on your computer. If you need help, contact your help desk. Okay, if you do not install or download this client, there will be a repercussion. There will be something that will not work. Um, Let me log in now and show. In fact, even now we will not be able to know unless we publish an application to know that, right? So if I go for, oops, the password first. So I'm just going to put the administrator. I haven't installed the Citrix receiver yet, right? So I'm just going to show you also how to do that. Um, there are other ways to do that, but if we don't have a Citrix receiver, so Citrix domain dot local, click log on, does it, so it is working, kinda. No usable client detected. Um, Yeah, I did not even go administrator. Yep. So for me it's just not working at all. So if I just put the administrator, I'm putting it correct. Citrix domain dot local. Well, anyway, if it doesn't accept, I'm just gonna go and check it the first time. And also, I was saying, if you do get an error, some of us might get an error. Please verify your username and password and try logging on again. If you cannot log on, contact your help desk. Hey, help desk, could you help me, please? Okay, so everyone logged in or somebody else got that error as well? Or whoever is trying, everyone logged in? Okay, is it the same error you're getting? Oh, okay, same error. This could be that port thing. But if this error does come, for those it didn't come, cool. For those it did come, I would go back to the main server, the first server, where it is showing, that login. I'm going to try to log in here. And, this is the server where the web interface role is installed. It better work here, right? If in case it doesn't work here as well, I would try to go to that port area. My username password is correct, right? I would want to troubleshoot this, right? So I will minimize this screen because the username password is okay. It's just saying, hey, I don't know this username password while I'm sure I'm putting the correct one. So minimize this. You see this link again. It's there, right click and go to the server forms, right? And this is that port XML port I was talking about. So let's click edit and that screen is there. And if I want to change it to, something else like 8080, so you can see that I've just changed the port number. So press OK, press OK again, and let's check it out again, right? So the same interface, administrator. I put everything correct. Okay, press enter. There you go. Worked, right? Well, we haven't published any application, so it's showing this. Okay, so I'll go back to the client. Obviously, if it worked there, it will work here as well. Administrator. Oops. Citrix domain dot local. Yep. Yeah. So IIS is locally installed there. Yeah. So okay, it is working fine. We had to just change the port because that port 80 was being used already. What do we do when we get to install here? Let's publish quickly an application and see that application here and try to double click that. It's supposed to be a hosted application, which means that it will be remotely functioning there or consuming the hardware of the client, the server. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back here to the main, the first Zen server. I want to see some application here, right? So, well, on the Dropbox, there are some applications I've uploaded. You could just, publish anything exe, anything. Uh, so I'm going to minimize this website thing as well. I'm going to close this Citrix Zen App Server Role Manager as well and go for this App Center. So there is that applications area. You know what? I already have some locally available applications. So if I go to my folders here, and try to double click D, edu, um, Central Soft. There are many applications, right? Putty is there, Web Workstation, Create Users, Starwind. Oh, let me just go and grab that Google Chrome. So it's in SCCM, software. So we could just put any, yeah, there's the Foxit Reader, Google Chrome, WinRAR. Okay, I'll just quickly add those. They're small applications, right? Yeah, we don't put port 80, but did you see that for some people it did work? So, but definitely, best practice is don't go for that. Go for your other port because port 80 is too common, right? It's already always being used because IIS is already installed there. So that was a question from the chat. Okay, so I'm going to put these three applications in a local folder here. So I'm just going to create a folder called soft or the software and control V, all applications. Yeah, we can disable I no web app from Citrix. Yeah, we can. Yeah, web interface. You can put it on the other server as well, and put the IIS on one server. So it can work as well. But normally IIS is always there. So you would be. It would be better off that we change the port, and it always works. Oh, there are some chat comments there. Um, so these are the three applications I have: Foxit Reader, Google Chrome, and WinRAR. Um, okay, so I'm just gonna go for applications here and publish application. So this is the wizard that starts. Cancel out, press yes, and again, applications. Right click, publish application. Guys, it's cold outside and it's really hot inside. So now it's okay. Sorry. Hey, I'm at home. Come on. Anyway, so so publish application. Let's go ahead. So there's a welcome here, basic name. So let's go ahead, name it. I'm gonna go for Chrome and description. Yeah, from Google and blah blah blah, whatever. But we can just go for name. So in your case, go for Notepad. Go for any exe file that you have if you're trying to do that. You know, people are actually trying, if you don't have any other extra application, they go for Notepad. And Notepad is located in the path C:\Windows \System32 and Notepad. So I can try that too. So after Chrome, I'll just go for Notepad. Let's put some applications there, right? Okay, next. So there is that content. So choose the type of application to publish. Is it, the full desktop, which is another product of, Citrix, but it does support some of this stuff. Then there's a content that is also not supported right now. Grants users access to non-ICA application content of your choice, such as document, web page, or video presentation. We can give a link of a YouTube video or anything if we go for content, but we're going to go for an application right now. And still, also, is it accessed from a server? Yes, this application is right now on the server. You know what? I did not actually, it is just an independent application. In fact, I should not go for even Chrome because the application has to be installed first. It's not like we are deploying an image of an application that's going to, deploy the whole thing. Let me just go down there. Neither I have Faucet Reader installed, neither I have Google Chrome installed. It's just, in the, we need to still install that. No, nor I have WinRAR installed, right? So I just cannot blindly go ahead and we cannot publish uninstalled applications, right? So what I need to do is what I was suggesting to you. Let's go for Notepad. So, okay, sorry. Notepad. Uh, then later I'm going to deploy Google Chrome and, it's going to take time, but Notepad here, if I put that, now everyone can follow me, right? Next, so whatever application can execute right away. Google Chrome in this condition is not in executable form, right? Or nor other all those other applications. I have to properly install them and then give the path of that application from where it executes. Notepad.exe, it executes right away, right? So Notepad, next, application, installed application, Internet Explorer, yeah, it's working fine. So if you know the path, go for it. Internet Explorer, I think it's iexplore.exe, right? So I think it's also in System32 in Explorer, or is it in program files? We can just go for that. Just give the proper path till that exe file, and you can just do it, right? Let's go over the first one, then we can go for another type of application, then we will know, oh, that's how we install. So I'm going to go for the hosted type, then we're going to later try streamed as well. So installed application, yes, it is an installed application, or streamed to server that, it goes in the package form. But installed application, let's just accept the defaults, go next. Now it's asking where is that file. So I'm just going to go browse, go to computer, go to C drive. Well, I know that notepad.exe is in Windows and then System32 and then just it's there in the root. So Windows, S, click anything and press S, System32, and then go for N. There's going to be a lot of N's as well. Okay. There it is. Okay, Notepad. So C, Windows, System32. Then on the root is Notepad, right? It won't work? Okay, let's go and check. So, sorry. Let's try that. You put it, okay, so Windows working directory, next. Now choose the servers on which this published application will run when being delivered via ICA. And you're right, Manzur, you're right. It won't work because we did not download. It's going to show. It's not going to be opening because we did not download the Citrix receiver. So either we get the internet on our Windows 7 or Windows 8, so we could download that receiver, or we have to mount the ISO of Citrix and download that Citrix receiver. Either way, we have to download that and then it will open. But it will at least show, right? That's what I wanted to show right now without downloading the receiver, that how it will not work and then what we need to do, then the importance of Citrix receiver. But you went ahead. That's good. So let's go for click add my form. So since I have chosen the notepad from Citrix MEM01, so double click the servers, and MEM01 is in my Toronto folder. Remember that I put it in the folder. So MEM01, press OK. Actually, it's on the same path there on MEM02 as well. It's on every Citrix server's same path, right? Press OK. Since it's the same path, let me just add the second server as well. It's just going to load balance in case, huge amount of users are going to do that. So next, allow only configured users. That's where we really start giving permissions to, suppose it's a counting application or any other banking application. So there will be a security group for bankers, security group for accountants. You would add just that security group, and only these users will be able to, whoever is added here will be able to do, see those icons, and other users will not be able to see that icon. So we're going to be playing with that too. That does it really work? So Citrix user selector allow only configured users. If I click add here and go to the Citrix domain, I would want to go for, the domain users, add list of names. Well, it's not going to work here. So I'm just going to go for that domain users, which is normally in, there it is. Okay, that's domain admins. There's domain users. So anyone knows who's the member of domain users? Which type of users are member of domain users group? Anyone knows that? Anyone knows which type of Active Directory users are member of domain users? You can put that answer in the chat. All created users are domain users, exactly. Whether it's administrator or whether it is any other user, are they're all part of the domain users. So it's the most common group. If we add domain users, we are adding all the domain users. Okay, domain users. Press OK and click next. So what should be the icon here? So client application folder, if you want to put it there, add to the client's start menu. Either we can do that, or we can add shortcut to the client's desktop, but we want it to be shown in the browser, right? So let's go ahead, nothing to select here. Later we can play with those options as well, but right now let's keep it like that, and we can change icon if you want. Okay, next. So disable application initially, no. Configure advanced application settings now. For now, let's keep it simple, right? So let's just go ahead, click finish. Excuse me. So there's that application called Notepad right now showing. If I want to see inside my client browser, well, the best thing is log off, log in. But, just since it's a private environment, so if I press F5, it's not like Windows that, oh, it's going to refresh and just start showing. So log off. So it's going to log off. Oh, it actually logged off. Okay, did not. So I'm just going to open that and go for that URL again. Okay. So it's again reminding, buddy, you gotta install that Citrix receiver if you really want to. But I'm gonna say, nah, I don't need that. Whatever you say, I'm just gonna log in directly, and I'm going to try to access that application. Okay. If I log in now, excuse me. And the website cannot find the required software on your computer if you need help. Yeah, whatever. Oh, come on. Okay, there you go. Well, it is showing there, but can I use it? So start, and it's going to say, hey, where's that ICA client that I was asking you with that big green install button? So again, it's going to be, okay, let's find it. And it's going for go.microsoft. Come on. Give me a break. So you know what? Either we can just download from Citrix.com, or we can put that client over the network and deploy it. In fact, right now what we need is that Citrix receiver. How do we get it? So one way is if I go, this is just for one client. Definitely if you have 10,000 clients, you can't do that. You have to put but that on a, network. In our company, what happens is that, if I start a new laptop, if there's a new laptop and the people are just trying to log into their regular applications, which are just published on Citrix, they are not even provided, when this green install button comes, they click it and that's it. It goes nowhere. Either it goes to directly the citrix.com, or it doesn't even go to the network side. So then we request the help desk and they say, okay, there you go. Just go to that link and download this and exe file and next finish. So where is that exe file that we want to put it on the network? Okay. So first thing, there's one option is that if I go to settings of this Win 7 machine and go for DVD and browse and then 6.5 ISO, if I connect there, press OK, and when it pops up, well, Citrix Receiver and plugins is here. Though and in English and in CE. Although I wanted to go the other way, the auto discover way. Oops, just a sec, guys. I just went quickly, but oh, seriously. Yeah, it's gonna go inside. There is another way to do that because I need to still go and look for that. It's supposed to be this. Uh, so if I go inside and English, there's Windows as well. Well, Windows is a language, cool. Anyway, offline plugin or receiver plugin. So we have Citrix offline plugin for Zen streaming. There are all these plugins here. Receiver, the actual receiver. If we go, this is the one. So Citrix Receiver Enterprise. So if I double click that, and while it is going ahead, what about if I go to internet? What is it offering there? So I'll just quickly check on the same. Yeah, I have a network internet as well. If I go for network settings, change adapter settings, internet enabled. Okay. So if I go to internet, we log off from here or go out, go back in. That green button when it comes, I just want to take you to the website as well. Oh, internet's not there. Cool. Okay. Minimize. Let's let it finish this. Excuse me. Installation completed successfully. To see new applications in your start menu, you will need to enter the URL of a server computer. So server address is server name. Yeah, well, I can go for non-secure Citrix server 1. Receiver cannot contact the server. Enter this maybe because the server is down. There is an error on that. Okay, now I got it. So update. Okay, so excuse me. It's my throat today. I should at least remove that mic when I'm doing that. So okay, it got that. full URL. Let me try to, okay, cool. I got that application as well. If I click that, oops, I clicked 2 times. The receiver is starting. Just wanted to show you where it takes you to on the internet as well, which we can do. Okay, once the receiver starts, it's trying to present the application, opening it for us. Let me just cover that. I think I should mute my mic. Sorry, guys. And my kid is about to wake up. He's sleeping right beside me, so I don't want a kid mutiny starting here. Wow. So it's going to take forever. Let's go for, no, it's not supposed to. I think I clicked 2 times. That's why, maybe. So there's that path I wanted to show you. And this path is, if I go back again, if you, mount that CD, Citrix receiver, plugins, Windows, oh, there it is. So license warning, notice this product is using an evaluation license and it's after 83 days it expires. Yeah, whatever. Press OK. Oh, since I double clicked it, or 2 times I clicked it. So, oh, there it is. Okay. 2 notepads. Yay. Okay, so this is the publication. I just wanted to show you the path again. Receiver and plugin, go to Windows and then go for receiver and enterprise receiver. This is an independent exe file. You could put it anywhere over the network and the user can be sent this path, or on an intranet the user could have this path, just download and install it. We are not automatically, when we click install, the green button, it just don't get automatically installed. They don't want everyone to install that. So that's why we have to request desktop, and then they see, hey, is it a legit user? Then they give us the path for, hey, okay, go ahead and install. In some companies, it's, you click install, it just installs right away. They don't have any security issues. Okay, this is so application is showing here. I wanted it to log off, return to log on. Now it's properly showing. Okay, that's also one more thing I wanted to have recorded. The previous web page might require the following add-on. This add-on has to be there. So when you deploy that receiver, then this pops up. Just go ahead and run add-on, and that's it. Click run. So we are good to go. An appropriate client is available. This confirmation is always good, right? So, okay, an appropriate client is always available. So this means at least this Windows 7 is good to go. Let me just, okay, there's that. Oh, cool, he made it. Sorry. Close the door. Okay. Seriously. Okay, kid mutiny. Alert. I guess I need a break. No, I'm okay, I guess, till now. Okay, so one more thing. Oh, we need a break or you need a break? So it's 8:35. Okay, I went to the second server. There's that product evaluation message coming here as well. And I just wanted to see, I did add that server there. Load evaluators. Yeah, it's on the first server. So this same message came here on the server. Okay, I think everyone is asking for a break. Give me a break, will ya? So let's have that 10 or 15-minute break and then come back. So, okay, 10-minute break. And let's come back and I'll get my kid. So, there's 10-minute break, guys. Cheers. Let's continue from where we left off. I'm gonna mute my mic and pause. And what we need to do is, okay, let's resume in 3, 2, 1. Resume. So by now everyone must have done that successful application publishing, I can say. And then if I go back to the slide here, there are many things that we need to look for. This is the screen we already looked. Excuse me. Oops, my throat. Okay, so this we already looked for the explicit permission, and then there are there's that minimal and full display. Yeah, we did not check that. So I'll quickly go and do 2 or 3 changes. So we could try to check that as well. So if I go and open again web interface, Citrix web interface management. So if I go there, that's the site where we had configured the options. But when we right click this, there are many options, extra options that we can that we see. If we go for, first we had to change that, we did that 8080 port change. Then there was authentication methods, so we went for explicit. Then there is website appearance. This is also, we can try to change. We can try to change the layout. We can try to so if we go for screen and we go for login area, there is that, you want to see applications, all applications, or you want to see first always. When you put the link there or URL there, what do you want to see first? Or pre-logon or before the logon. Oh, so so this is the defaults, logon, and then there are full graphics or low graphics. Wow, this really is low graphics. But how fast any change we make from the right click, how fast does it really affect? So if I want to go for low graphics, for suppose there is a bad connection over the WAN, and I don't want to load all those over the WAN for some bad WAN connection to the other side, the user. So if I press OK here and refresh it here, and then if I go back to the client and just first refresh it, nothing happens. So if I close the browser and then open the browser again. Okay, and the URL's here. Well, it did not reach till now from the Citrix manual. Yep, that's the link. So if I simply log off and log in from the user, just trying to, do all the options because and go for these changes. Let's see if we have logged off, logged in. Citrix receiver could not contact the server. Oh, that's why. Please check your network connection. Hey, mate. My network connection was okay. Yeah, resumed. Double checking the video. It's resumed. Thank you for reminding. Thanks. Okay, so Citrix receiver was saying that it could not communicate with the server, but if I double click that Citrix receiver here and try to check, I think it did communicate with the server by now. So let's go and, okay, there are those preferences that the Citrix receiver we just installed. Show advanced receiver menu items as well. Yeah, well, I'll keep it here, the receiver, but I just wanted to check if any settings we change there, does it, go and reflect right away? In our case, instead of full graphics, no, it is not affecting right away, but I'm sure it's going to affect. So even I could have checked from there, right? With the previous site that does it load those options or not. For now, it's not affecting. So close all tabs. But there are these options for website appearance. Oh, even it's back to full graphics. Okay. Show example image, hover over element deception. So I did put it to full, but it went back to full graph. I mean, low graphics, it went back to full graphics. But anyway, what we need to know here is we can figure out what happened, but we can just try to affect the, the layout, enable search, or allow users to choose whether to enable searching, application display, enable refresh. Maybe there's a refresh button that we want to add there, enable return to the last folder visited, or allow users. So there are many areas that we can try to make changes, and the full graphics icon should be showing details, and list of the applications should be showing all the default view is icons, but default view could be changed to details as well, that or the list or tree or groups of applications, but we have left it to icons for now. But there are many options for how do you want to show those applications there. So there are desktops and content, as these were the choices when we were trying to deploy the first application there. So if I cancel out from here, then appearance is there, log on screen, you want to see like that, or minimum full, that's what we were seeing, right? That's what I read from the slide. Hey, we had checked the minimum, let's go for full. But if I press OK here and press OK, and let me try to preview here first instead of just going there and trying to check, and it did not load perfectly. Uh, yeah, so the full is now showing here. Okay, so it did affect right away. Before it did not. I think the browser was open, that's why. So if I go and make that change again for website appearance for low graphics and press OK and then do a preview site, it's going to load the browser. But no, it's not going to accept that. Actually, I need to do that to figure out and go to the site or Google it. That for low graphics and high, there's a policy in the background that's in the work that it's not going to accept that, even if you want to do that. But other settings, it is doing, right? So I put it to full. It is going for full screen when the login screen opens. Secure access is something we're going to try in later for SSL with SSL settings. Then there are resource types here. The resource type was again it was also in the we chose the dual mode, but for online applications, which means the hosted applications, and offline means the streamed applications, and then we chose the dual mode, but we can change this still from here what we chose in the main wizard. And there are some other things. So client deployment, now client detection, it's going to detect if the client is already there, perform client detection at logon, offer upgrades for clients. If Citrix has already offered something or improved or added some new features in the client and released a new version of the client, then we can click that and it's going to check for updates and going to update that older Citrix receiver there. right? So, or once the detection process is complete, the messages screen will display a message whenever a client is needed. Notify user if an appropriate client cannot be detected or if a more suitable client is available. So this is already selected to that if you do find that there's an old client or this client is not okay, or you have detected that there's a possibility of deployment of a new client, go ahead for and do that. But we can try to manage or change the client detection and upgrade settings from here. Then there is that fallback behavior, that the link for the client, if it is not working, deploy a native client. When a native client is not detected on a user's computer, deploy a native client. But that's the fallback behavior, that yes, try to deploy that, or at least it will give you that green install button. Deploy a native client and allow user to choose between this and the client for Java. There is also Java based client, and then there is automatically fallback to the client for Java. So we're going to talk about that as well, for a client for Java, which is much lighter when it comes to deployment of client over the internet, especially for online. We deploy that. Also, they are showing that if you do deploy client for Java, which is also a version of Citrix receiver, it's asking, hey, do you want to enable those virtual streams like audio, like client drive mapping, local text echo, and printing services are already done. But this just means that the client, if you want to make the client lighter and faster, you can keep it, or you can make those services removed. Encryption especially takes a lot of bandwidth, for it, not that much, but still it takes some bandwidth. Uh, so if you want to keep the client lighter, you can put these virtual streams, uncheck these virtual streams. Maybe you don't need printing mapping for now. You know that client will not print. Well, this seldom happens. Every client wants to print, right? But maybe the client is away from the company or outside, and there's no printing facility, and the client would still want to access just the applications. So you would want to make the client lighter, so you would uncheck those services here, virtual streams there. You can uncheck, and then the offline plugin. We're going to be trying to play with these plugins as well. Right now, we're just trying to check and explore the web interface. Separately, we're going to be trying to check the plugins, but there are those things when you right click for client deployment related, that we can change here once the user tries to access the URL from either inside the company or outside the company. And then there's a client proxy that, normally what happens is that if there's a proxy server defined in a company, it's always defined, maybe there's a group policy, through group policy, that proxy address is already present inside the Internet Explorer browser. So default is use browser setting for the proxy if there's a proxy server address given in the Internet Explorer inside the company. So just go ahead and Citrix client has to go through this proxy. Okay, just try to know what is the proxy address in the browser, and then just try to connect through this if you have to go through the proxy. But the default setting is, if there's a proxy without which you cannot access the client cannot access the server, then go and use the proxy, right? There are many other choices here. Session settings. Then it goes, we need to still talk about the sessions when we are going to do the session host. We're going to talk about the session host and, controller, session controller and session host. But then we're going to be talking about the details of how to access or how to control a session. So we're going to revisit this option here as well later. Workspace control is that, suppose there's a scenario. You're sitting in a train and there is that connectivity you have until there's a tunnel coming and you lose that connectivity. So Citrix connectivity. Citrix session is still not totally disconnected. In fact, it is, or instead, it is frozen for the time. All the settings are there. Maybe you were working on an Excel file. Maybe you were working on any other application that was open in front of you while the connectivity was there. But as soon as you lost the connectivity, it's not going to totally disconnect your connection and close all the files. It's going to retain that profile there in a frozen state. And whenever you pass that tunnel, you're out again, you get the connectivity, you would be able to actually recover that session. All the files will be open. Whatever you saved, wherever, it will still be as is as before the disconnection you were working on. So this workspace control, enable workspace control, automatic reconnection during logon, reconnect to all sessions that were established, and whatever you had opened, whatever application you opened, whatever you were working on, allow you just to customize even when they want to reconnect what they like to see first, or what they don't want to lose actually. Enable the reconnect button, reconnect to all sessions, so there should be a button that the user could actually, so these are all the default settings that if you accidentally or if you do log off, what do you don't want to lose right away. Even if you disconnect a session on the server side, the session, there's a limit that the session still stays there for some time. Maybe the user comes back again and tries to reconnect. So, that session which was there, the user just got disconnected to, or maybe the user was idle and then the session got disconnected. Still, all the settings are preserved for extended amount of time on the server, that if the user logs in that particular time, the user might have those applications still, user will find those applications open. Anyway, this overall means that workspace control, when you reconnect, your session should be still safe if accidentally you got disconnected for some reason, right? But when we talk about sessions, we're going to have the full, 1 or 2 hours. We will be talking about those user sessions, and there are a huge amount of policies. In fact, group policies are there, and then the Citrix policies are there. That's going to talk a lot about that. Then we're going to put some concepts to test as well. But when you are configuring web interface, these are many, many options, because this is one interface that every user will be using. So that's why there are a huge amount of settings that we need to do. Then there are site maintenance, repair site, uninstall site. So this is the site we just created, right? So that's why there is site maintenance as well. If you want to uninstall and reinstall again, or diagnostic you want to do, and then there is that previous site that we were trying to do. I wanted to do another deployment of application. Before that, there are some screens that needed to be visited. Wow, a lot of noise. So this is the screen we already saw about online, offline, and dual mode. And then we saw, okay, there's that appearance, but this is not the screen. Maybe, we can change the appearance by changing the color of the, that interface. Then, of course, we can see this. Also, one more thing I wanted to try was the explicit versus the pass-through authentication. So for that, when we went to authentication mode, there's that pass-through. There were all those choices, right? So if I uncheck this and click check pass-through and go for properties, so there's that domain restriction. Okay, these were the options that we just select that, yeah, we don't have any particular domain to do that. And pass-through would require use Kerberos authentication to connect to servers. When we are trying to implement Kerberos authentication, sorry, there are some extra steps to be configured. There are some extra things to be created in the Active Directory for the Kerberos to be integrating with Citrix. But we can leave it as is, and we can just try to see if pass-through actually works instead of the explicit. Where pass-through was, it may or may not work, but I just wanted to test that. That pass-through was that if you are logged in with your credentials and you are accessing the URL, this one, or the site, then it should accept your Windows logged in credentials. It may or may not work according for, maybe the policy doesn't reach there, or maybe the change doesn't reach there in time or something. So if I go and click that and go for previous site, right click. So either it could, oh, actually it's the other way. So it's actually asking for extra credentials, which is the Windows credentials actually. Citrix, connecting to Citrix mem. Let me just check one thing. The administrator. We would not need two authentications. Let me just put there. So some of your resources. Ooh, seriously? Hey, that's no time to call. Let me just pause. Mute that. Hey, come on. Who's calling? Guys, I'm teaching, so please don't call me. I'm just kidding. It's not one of you. I don't know who it is. Okay, so some of your resources cannot be reconnected even though they may be available for reconnection if this message does not usually appear during your sessions. Contact the system. Okay, I will just try to reconnect from my client, log off, log in, just to see the pass-through. Okay. If it works. You cannot. So initially it does show that it's trying to establish connection. Citrix Receiver is trying to search for those servers, and until it finds it, it's going to stay there. When it finds it, it just goes away, right? So please check your network connectivity or something. But there is something going on with the client and the server. I did enable the second network card. Let me just close that so I could just see the pass-through and record it for the video. So I'm just going to disable the, although it's not even working, but I don't want it to catch IP address from my DSL. Okay, let me just check that quickly. If I open the browser and go for the URL, oh, it's just putting extra, well, it's not extra, but it's just asking for those Windows authentication. Although it's, it's just like that, username, password, the domain, we don't have to mention, while in the explicit, we have to mention the actual domain name as well. Here, it's just saying that just put your Windows credentials and we go ahead. So it's not, although it is still that user, but it will still ask you the authentication. Okay. Log on as administrator. I wanted to check some other things, but I'll just keep it or log, keep it for some other time. There are settings. There are some extra settings that we wanted to see. You know why these settings are showing now? Because we selected the full client instead of minimal client. So now the user has some choices there. I think, well, in our company, they just show us minimal client tab. They don't go for full client. They don't want to give us the users to change some settings, log on automatically, show hints, log off all sessions. So the user might not know what is good for them or what is not. And then there are messages showing two messages. The website is unable to detect the appropriate client on your computer. If you cannot access your applications, click here to obtain the Citrix offline plugin. Seriously? Again? Didn't I have it? I did install that, but I think that option there is just showing that. Otherwise, Citrix, or if it is not connecting even now, the Citrix receiver which I had. So since I don't have internet, so there's no benefit of this. Okay, you may need to restart your computer to complete the installation if you do not. Seriously? Install in progress. Well, it's just loading in progress. There's no install in progress. Refresh this. Refresh. Continue. Okay. Once the software is installed, the Internet Explorer information bar may appear at the top. Yeah, this all happened because that bar did appear when I installed that client, and you know where that client is. So this is just, I pressed the wrong button and all that message starts appearing again, right? Anyway, we did check that pass-through authentication, which just pops up the username asking for Windows credentials. It does not ask for domain. It gets that domain from the lockdown credentials. That's what it might mean, or what we now know that it means that, okay, it's going to detect your login credentials. So let me go to the slide. Now, I wanted to actually deploy another application, but it's still, we already know the process now. Citrix plugin, backup URL, and administrator can specify URLs of backup servers to contact if the online plugin cannot. So you can have a second URL created there as a backup URL on another Zen app server. When we're talking about high availability, we're going to try to do that too. For that, we can have a number of 5 backup URLs as well. If this one URL does not get you the that website, then there could be other backup URLs for okay, Citrix plugin in backup URL. So okay, so that's for the plugins that if you want to offer backup URLs, hey, you wanted to download the client and or plugin and it's not available. So there is another link that you could deploy from, right? But this is in the slide right now. We did not see that. We did talk about workspace control, that it features allows to users to disconnect, reconnect to sessions as they move between different client devices. So we did talk about that already, that it gets you reconnected. Workspace control has more options here as well. Only reconnects users to existing sessions on Zenap servers if a session is logged off. Workspace control cannot reconnect to it. So existing session is the main theme of Workspace, that you don't want to lose your existing session even if you get disconnected temporarily. But if you did log off yourself, that is another case. You cannot just recover from that because you just logged off, right? The whole thing you put down yourself. So cannot reconnect anonymous users to applications. Guys, there was from anonymous, we can remember there was another option in the authentication for anonymous, because it is working or it is at least giving us the um, results all at once. So I'm just going for authentication methods and check. This is the anonymous here, right? Which is a very bad idea, but if you press OK here and go for preview site, does it even ask for authentication? No, it just takes directly, but it did not even show the resources when we click anonymous. That, okay, let me log off, return to log on screen. Oh, Mr. Anonymous, log on. Whoa, go straight to where? Nowhere actually. It's a guest account, logged in as a guest, and unless we configure another separate site for guests, the anonymous will not see our published applications. That's another authentication method. I wanted to put it on the video. So if I go back and try to change the authentication methods, well, pretty bad idea. Explicit, again, press OK. Preview site, first let me close this. And preview site, so it should just put us back to the full version instead of minimal version, right? The full version does offer us a lot of options. When we log in especially, it does offer us a lot of options, but in our environment, it does not. Minimal is good. Okay, workspace control, the main thing, it will let you reconnect, but for smart card and other scenarios that we would want to check later, requires the web interface site be set to override the client name settings in the manage session preferences task. So Yeah, we're going to be testing that later. Workspace control has huge amount of features. Let's go for the main features of web interface for now. This is that window that we saw earlier, and workspace control is there in the preferences. If we go, yet we did see some of the controls given to the client when we put the full screen there, right? When we put the full options there instead of minimal client options. So workspace stuff can also be done there. Yeah, we did that as well, configuring single and multiple server forms. So we can, suppose we have another form. We can also mention that form, or we can at least create a second site representing another form. But this is pretty advanced topic, and you can see that they're both using port 80, although uh, then they do not have that IIS installed there locally, or some other workaround. But definitely, if this port is already being used, we cannot use it, right? So right now, this is still an advanced topic that we're going to be trying to have multiple forms in the last classes. We're going to try to have more than one form, and we will see that how it collaborates there. And then we talked about client detection. We already talked about that we can try to change some of the options there to upgrade the client if it's not there. uh, and fallback behavior, web interface, we can have another site, or we can have another URL for the plugin. Okay, I'm just going for some points here that we may not have covered in the slide. I think in that wizard we tried to cover all the, so Citrix XML service, trust relationship, in authentication mode, pass-through, explicit, trust is required, no trust is required. There is this. So XML service, what does XML service do? Anyone knows that? It tries to connect the user with the least busy. There are many other features. There are many other tasks it does, but one of the main is to have it load balanced, right? Okay. So, okay, that's okay. There's a kid mutiny, guys. Just a second. Okay, back. Sorry. So, there are some advanced the topics that I would want to wait for ticket expiration. So I'm just looking for anything that is left, and we can visit this later as well. Delivering applications and content. We did deploy one application and publishing resources, and we did talk about the application as well. This was the screen that we were talking about. Um, so server desktop, application, and content. Anyone has deployed Internet Explorer? I think Mahfouz, you were saying that you were deploying Internet Explorer. So anyone did try that in the application? And I could just try to deploy disabling or hiding a published resource. Let's first publish some resources, then we can try to think about. So I'm just gonna quickly, which I wanted to, so there was exe file already available notepad that we deployed. Let me just install an application, which was the actual scenario where you get to install something and then discover the path, try to know the path of that application, and then publish that. So we did not do that. So we did the easiest task. If I install the WinRAR or Foxit Reader, first I have to have this application copied to both of the XenApp servers, and it has to be on the exact same path on both of the XenApp servers. I just copied all three, but I just wanted to install WinRAR. So on first server, I'm just going to install, this could be any application, right? But you have to do it exactly, both the paths should be the same, right? So WinRAR, I'm just going to deploy it quickly and try to know the path for that. Press OK, done. Okay, so the path here is C, program data, Microsoft, Windows, start menu, programs, WinRAR. I'll just get this or save this here, notepad. This is the path for this application. So when I try to publish, now I've installed something, right? Okay. Okay. So, I have installed something and I want to know where is the executable file for that. Actually, these are all shortcuts. This is not an exe file. How do I know where is WinRAR application installed? So if I go back to program files, WinRAR is not there. I go to, there was x86, there, yeah, there it is. Okay. So it's in program files, not the x86 version. And then which one is the executable? This one. So this is the path, sorry. So not that. That was just a shortcut. So, if it does not, if the shortcuts do not execute there because they are not executable and you deploy it to, 500 users, 500 calls coming would not be a very good site for us. So I am getting the path after installing quickly WinRAR. I'm just trying to get the path of the WinRAR application. I would want to double click and check. Yeah, it opens fine. Okay, good. So the path is here. If I want to publish an installed application, instead Foxit Reader is also a very small application. So let me just try the second one as well. So at least if it shows some more complications than the previous one, we could just cover that as well. If we want to publish this, it has to be properly installed on the same path on both servers. So for WinRAR, I know that this is the path C program files WinRAR on Zenap or first server, right? If I go to the second server and install the same application, install, okay, done. These are still the shortcuts, but I want to go to the same path. And so program files, WinRAR, exactly the same path. Yeah. So it's, if I go to type, there's the WinRAR. So this is exactly the same path here as well. Good. Okay, and then Foxit. I used to actually install Visual Studio, AutoCAD, Adobe Photoshop, huge applications on Citrix 4. So, and then they have to be exactly same setting on all 5 servers. They used to be called presentation server, which is now called ZenApp, right? So anyway, if I go for typical enable safe reading mode, uh, I'll just avoid all the extra options for now, just to check if it really works. Oh, that's going to take time. I didn't know that. So at least WinRAR is ready. While this is getting installed, let me just go and publish the other one just to save time. Otherwise, if we're deploying Visual Studio, MS Office 2000, I think 7 at that time, and AutoCAD, those were huge applications. So, so many hundreds of options were there, right? Okay, there's a comment in the chat. Okay, it's Foxit Reader is also installing. Sorry, what was that comment? If we have when, W-E-N? Okay, launch Foxit Reader. Click finish. The Foxit Reader is enabled. Close. Now, where is it installed? I need to get that path for that as well. So I'm just going to go for C. Uh, okay, if we have web application, how to deploy in Citrix server for user. So Citrix server can deploy installed applications. It can also deploy URLs as well. So even if you have UNC path // server, server one / and software. So even we can deploy the UNC path the shared folder path, and any YouTube link we can publish. You name it, we can do that, right? So even if it's a web application, we just have to put the URL there for that web application. So we can do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna go for the Foxit reader as well. I think its company name is different. Yeah, there it is, Foxit software. So Foxit reader and Foxit reader application. This is the, if I double click that, yep, it works. So the path I would save here is this, because I need to give this the path. We used to, save these paths like this. Minimize, the first path is program files WinRAR, second path is this for Foxit Reader, right? So we have two applications. I will just deploy this same Foxit Reader on the other one as well. So double click. Oh, it's going to take time here. So let me just deploy the WinRAR. I'm trying to understand, in that case, a Citrix server has to, so there's a comment there, has to deal with DB server and web server as well, or just installation. So suppose you are deploying an application that is connected to a database as well. The only thing is, suppose you want one user, suppose it's not, let's put the Citrix away. You want, suppose, 10 users to open that application. Those end users have nothing to do with database. What they see is the front end. So when you deploy a web application, even without Citrix, what you do is you give just the URL, right, of that web application to the users. So the users just go to the URL, the front end of the application appears. The users have nothing to do with the database. In our case, on the Citrix environment, um, we will install the web application if we had to on this server. Of course, we have to. And database, it's not necessary the database has to be on exactly on the Citrix server. The database can be within the network. The web application will have the path for the database within the network. What we need to publish is the URL of a working web application, or the executable file of that web application. But the database must, it's not necessary the database you have to install on the Citrix server, then only it will connect. Wherever you publish that exe file or the URL of the web application, a URL mostly, so you will be only publishing that URL, and when the user double click that, or when the user click that path in the published application, the application opens for the user. In the background, it is through Citrix receiver, it is connecting to the database. So yes, the database, you don't have to do anything on the database side. Database has to be in the network and the application is connected. As far as that is the case, it's okay. You don't have to deploy the database on the Citrix server itself. So there's another comment in the chat. You said 5 servers you had. Why did you use 5? And for all servers, you need to buy those software, let's say Office 2010. So 5 servers we had, and what we did was, yes, we had to, so instead of buying 2,000 licenses for the Office to, on the 2,000 computers there, we had to buy 5 licenses on the server side for the servers, for the Office 2010. And 5 servers were there to load balance because we had 2,000 users. If we had 100 users, we would have gone for 2 servers. So if we have 10,000 users, we would go for even 20 servers. It's up to what you're uploading there, or what you're installing, or what you're publishing there. So if we had 5 Citrix servers, also because nearly all of the applications were heavy. AutoCAD, lots of memory and resources and CPU resources, and Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop, and then Office 2010, Visual Studio, heavy applications. So that's why we needed uh, more servers. Even five were not enough because there were so many students connecting to the sessions were connecting to so many servers. Even load balancing, after doing load balancing, it was still performance was not was not perfect. So yeah, that's why we had five servers, and but in terms of license, it's a lot of money we saved. So so you know what, concurrent sessions, when you're talking about, there's a license according to the number of concurrent sessions you're going to allow per server. So Citrix says that, and Microsoft says that too, because Citrix is actually on top of Microsoft. So if there are 2,000 concurrent connections or simultaneous connections at the same time, there are 500 connections, so you can pay us this much. If there are like 1,000 at the same time, you can pay us that much. But I can give you all the numbers in the next coming class because we're going to be talking about sessions. So we're going to be talking about numbers according to the licenses and numbers according to the server hardware itself. That if you have a very good hardware, but what kind of bandwidth you want, what kind of network and switch features should be there for huge bandwidth support, and then how much money you want to pay for it. Oh, suppose you have very good network and good bandwidth. So you mean that you're allowing 2,000 connections or 1,000 concurrent connections at the same time. So that means you're paying according to that amount. So we're going to be talking about licensing. There are two layers of licensing. One is you have to purchase Microsoft Remote Desktop, or which was, it used to be called Terminal Server, that license. You need to have the license for Microsoft, and you need to have license for Citrix, because Citrix works on top of Remote Desktop services, which used to be terminal services before, right? So yeah, we're going to be talking about sessions. We're going to be talking about licensing and coming. But I just wanted to right now at least show, hey, it publishes, you know, the main task of. But it's a lot of settings and concepts that we still need to talk about. So I have installed already both applications on both XenApp servers. So let's just go and publish, because I have the paths as well. So if I right click the publish or applications area here and go for publish application, then there is the name. Now it's Foxit Reader. If I put the name there, next, install application, next, command line. So I have the path already, and this is Foxit Reader software. If I go for that, minimize, go for Foxit Reader. I go click browse. Oh, it's not gonna open there. So let me just go and check, because the exe file is still, spellings are not there. So if I go for program, x86 program, Foxit Reader is there, and the application, there's a shortcut and there's an application. So let's just go for that. Now this is the proper with, quotes it's covering, and with all the spaces. So it's better not to put the, copy paste path. We just take it for, exactly where it is, just to know where to go. But it's best always to go browse and then give the path, because then it populates the correct format of that URL. Okay, so Foxit Reader next, and how many servers are hosting it? 2, and the path is same for both. I'll just double check, although we already know it's gonna be there, double checking them, is always still a good idea. Yep, it's exactly the same path on the second server. So publishing one Citrix and second, so Citrix mem01 and mem02, press OK. Next, allow everyone. For now, we have just administrator that's doing that, but later we're going to be deploying more users. Well, administrator resides in built-in. This Active Directory built-in, right? Show users. Oh, mm, oh, sorry. I think it's the users. Right. Oops. I didn't use press OK. So I just chose administrator because we're just using that guy. Otherwise, domain user is also okay. Next, client icon should be that. It should not be in a folder. And no, not add to the client start menu. Not now. Redirection, we need to do that. Plugin, we need to still deploy. Add shortcut to the client's desktop. Okay, let's try that. Disable the application initially in the start? No. Just go ahead. Finish. So there's Foxit Reader, and then let me go for another application, which is WinRAR. Okay, next. Although I have the path for that, I am just going to go and browse there so it could just put that properly in the code with that format. So access from server, browse, computer, C, program files. It's the other program file, right? WinRAR and application WinRAR. Okay, in proper codes with exe and everything. Okay, working directory. Next, two servers. We had confirmed that the path on both servers is exactly the same. That's why we're okay. Configured users, go for, yeah, the domain users. It could be administrator, with domain user, doesn't matter, right? So even that add shortcut to the client's desktop. Let's just see if it does that. Okay, all published. Right click on the top, refresh on the application, left click, right click, refresh. Go back to the client, start the browser, go for the URL. Seriously? You did not install that? Come on, you did. Look for an information bar. Oh, come on. I did check that as well. So, oh, let me put it in the safe site now for I don't know what reason, because I did configure it before. And although it definitely is not an issue of safe site, skip to log on. Oh yeah. If the receiver was not there, there would have been that green button, right? But still we need to check more why it's not showing normal screen. Although I did do a lot of experimentation, enable, disable some options just to check quickly in our client environment and put it on the video so we could do all those tests and try to know, oh, this works that way, this works this way. Citrix domain dot local. Okay. These applications are showing there. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Does it work? So clicking just once, Foxit Reader, you can view it's starting. Yeah, it's an evaluation version. Good. Okay. And WinRAR. Okay. Oh, that was fast. Of course, not bad. Now it's fast actually. And did it put it on my desktop as well? Minimize. Minimize, minimize, minimize. Oh, cancel. Nope, but if I log off and log in, then it might. So Yeah, all applications work fine if we properly post it. So, there is that, if I want to go for, okay, session count 3. So on Citrix mem02 and Citrix mem01. So session count 0 on mem01. So I am connecting with those applications from mem02 session count 3 applications. If I want to see this remote desktop licensing mode, 113 days, it's a Microsoft license we have to purchase for remote desktop, right? Previously known as terminal services. Anyway, I'm back on the client. If I close this application, one of the applications, and well, I'm going to refresh. If I go back and refresh that, okay, good. It's live. I close one application, it shows session count as 2. So if I go for closing one more application and right click and refresh, 1. Okay. So it just shows which is the user, and with ICA I'm connected. I'm active right now, and session ID is 2. So there's that whole information. There are sessions with WinRAR active. On session ID is this, application WinRAR, ICA client connection is their RDP connection is listening right now. So all the information, processes running on that server right now. Published applications are 3 with explicit hotfix details. Okay, yeah, we did not touch that till now. But it's live. As soon as we stop the applications, it just, give us the live information that only one application is there. So if I go back here, uh, and WinRAR, and if I go back here, WinRAR again, there are three WinRARs now. If I go back here and WinRAR fourth time, and I just wanted to check four sessions of the same application by the same user. Okay, there's that question about shadowing. I did not enable shadowing till now. So when in next labs, we're going to be having some more features testing. So then we will do the 3 types of shadowing. We're going to check that. Right now, okay, if I refresh this, which server is it connecting to now? So nothing connected to 1, and if I refresh this, there are 4 counts, 4 sessions now, right? So one user opening the same application again and again, it just counts to all those sessions, but it is, updated quickly about all those sessions that I wanted to show there. And then we're going to be talking about the election preference, most preferred and default zone, where in the zones, the servers are most preferred to be communicated for and selected for the client to connect, and the defaults. So we're going to be talking about that and some more in the zones and worker groups later. The main idea was to connect the web interface, publish some applications, and check all the options that we have on the web interface. So I just wanted to check some more of the options here. Otherwise, there's the web interface here. We haven't gone for the services side, but mostly we wanted to just make sure that this one of the most important service. We are covering most of the features of this service. And so this is later when we are expanding our environment or trying to do more experimentation, we will be adding more sites to that, services sites to that. And in next class, we're going to be having all about the infrastructure again with the remaining topics a little more in depth with some labs here. And we're going to crash one Zen app or stop one Zen app and then try to see if zone-wise it is automatically selected or not. There's a most preferred and default preferred. We're going to be talking about that as well. So guys, also, so main thing is that now before Sunday, you have to submit those slides, and there are some issues still going on with some of you. So please try. Let's try to connect from tomorrow to know what the problem is. Russell, I think you have a problem with the client. So the management console, so there are screenshots. You just need to send the final screenshot or 3 or 4 screenshots of main configurations. So let me know where anyone is stuck, so I could try to connect. I saw the email of Anne, but I was too busy for, there were so many tasks coming from all sides. So tomorrow I'm available, so I can connect to Anne, Russell, and anyone else who is having any issues with your labs. So please try to do those labs because it's going to start piling up now. Many of you have sent the slides already. Some of you haven't sent, so please send your at least final configuration slide. Um, okay, so there's a comment there. Yeah, I am not off tomorrow, but I will have more time than today to spare tomorrow. So I'm available tomorrow. I'm available early morning after 10 till 2 till 10 till 1 I'm available. Yeah, available. No, I'm going to be connecting from home, but I'll try to be available to at least connect to your connection as well, right? So let me know if you're stuck in something, but I need those screenshots. Please try to send as soon as possible. This will encourage me as well that, hey, everyone is working hard, so let's work hard as well. Yeah. Oh, tomorrow is Remembrance Day. So it's already a holiday, right? Is it? Or it's not a national holiday, right? So yeah, I didn't know that. Otherwise I would be like jumping. Hey, okay, I need to call my boss. Anyway, so not for all, yeah. So okay, good news. Yay. Yeah, so I'm available tomorrow, but yeah, no, I already got the tasks. So please let me know if you are, stuck with anything. Let's try to work. I'm more in the morning after 10. You can let me know till 1 o'clock, and that would be the best time. Yeah. Okay. So guys, this is it for today. If there are any more questions, we can try to answer that, but we just try to know more about the website configuration and the application publication basics. We're going to try to know about the sessions and the high availability options, and then some more complicated scenarios and topics will be coming, especially when you're offering printing, when you're doing some redirection, how do we stream applications, and well, there are loads of topics coming, and also we haven't tried the Microsoft version of application publication. So remote desktop services also have a form setup. I was supposed to do that in the start, but I started with the Citrix app. So, everyone will say, hey, he's doing the Microsoft thing. He promises Citrix. Anyway, we need to still know how Microsoft publishes the same applications, and Citrix makes it much, 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 much better. Anyway, there are many, many topics. So guys, if there are no questions, remote desktop, yeah, I'll include that in the at the end classes. We're going to be doing the Microsoft version basic. It's just not very advanced, but after doing Citrix, you will know that, oh, it goes somewhat to that area. So, okay, good night, everyone. And there will be upcoming SCCM class starting as well. So if you want to join that, or if you know someone who's interested, so we could just, add him or her as well. So good night, everyone. And let me know who's interested in, let me know, me or know about SCCM, right? Okay, or email us. Good night, everyone. See you. Screenshots, everyone. Just remember, good night. Screenshots, good night. Closing.